Welcome to the Tom Bernard Show with the family with
co-host Catherine Brandt.
Andy Brandt Bernard.
And Kristen Burt.
See, there you go. You're all covered. There's no question about that.
And we're all coughing and clearing our throats.
Oh my gosh.
All day.
It's true. Smoke everywhere.
Bear with us.
Well, it's weird because we had a huge thunderstorm roll in last night.
Yeah, we sure
right?
did.
And I mean, it was really super windy. So and tons of rain. So you would think that would blow it all out and knock it all down.
I don't think so.
But it somehow trapped it all in.
Yep.
Yeah, it did. It trapped.
It takes, I'm going to be coming from experience
Yeah.
in the fire zone, it takes weeks for that to dissipate.
Lovely.
I'm telling you.
For people who have air purifiers in your home, you should be running them 24/7.
Yes.
Yep.
You should be keeping all your windows and doors closed, and not the week to go out for jogging and running and walks and things like that.
No.
Go to your gym or a workout at your inside at your house.
Yeah,
Yep.
we just walked in, from the car to the front door.
Yeah, it's probably about 300 feet.
My eyes are burning. My throat is burning.
Yeah, the rain really
can't
kicked all this
believe
crap
it.
up. Or it was just the wind. The wind was insane last night. So
Yeah.
it probably just blew all the smoke on the ground back up.
Yeah, it
if that's
dropped
how it works.
about, we had a front that came in, it dropped about, 15, 20 degrees
Yep,
in a matter
all of a sudden.
minutes.
Yep, it was cold. It's cold and rainy today.
Oof.
Yep.
Well, if you
Not
have
the
air
best.
purifiers, they make such
Oh,
a
we
huge
do.
difference. Yeah.
They do make a
Yeah.
big difference. Before we get started with Kristen Bird, I wanted to mention that I've gotten the message from all of you that back in the KQ days on KQRS, we had people call in all the time with their EMT, nurse, doctor, cop, firefighter, their stories. They never end. Honest to God, it's just wonderful. So we're going to do that on this show because I would have assumed somebody would have picked that up because it's kind of a public service thing. And people just love it, absolutely love it. As a matter of fact, if you have any comments to make about that, you can text in at 612-361-6622. That's 612-361-6622. Or you can call in too, 952-977-9381, 952-977-9381. The great thing about it is, Kristen, did you ever hear it when you were living here?
No. So I'm curious, are these like crazy EMT stories or are these like
It's all of
heroic
it.
stories or just anything?
It's heroic, it's funny, it's stupid. Some of the things that people say, trying to get out of being arrested, some of the things they say. And we
Donkadoo
don't-
balls.
Yeah, the Donkadoo ball. That's right. That was one of them. I
Remember
forgot
that
about
one?
that.
That was great.
No question about that. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And thank you, all the people who've been texting over the past 12 hours that brought this up. Yeah, we are going to bring it back and just pop it in throughout every show because it's so wonderful. It's like Kristen said. There are heroic stories that'll make you tear up. There are very, very funny stories that you can't believe people do the things they do.
Bill in the chat has some information per Fox 9. The cold front pushes the smoke down from higher elevations.
Oh, great.
So it can't go as high, so it's more concentrated on the ground.
Thanks,
amazing.
cold
That's
front.
what that's all about.
I just thought with all that wind, it would definitely get it out of here.
Nope,
but
sure
no.
didn't. And then we have a text in with a correction. Well, I don't know if it's a correction per se,
Okay.
but remember on Friday we were talking about Eaglebrook, that gigantic church?
Yeah.
That's Baptist, I think we said, right?
I think that's right.
I think that's what we said, yes.
He says he goes there all the time,
Yes?
and he says they're non-judgmental and it's fun, and
There you go.
it's good times. So
Wait a second.
Oh,
If
did
we-
we say it was a bad place? I
I
don't
mean,
remember.
I don't think any of us had any familiarity with it, but we
No.
just assumed because it's big, it must be crappy.
Oh, okay.
Can you imagine going somewhere where somebody's not criticizing it? That's all people do now is criticize everything.
You're wrong, Tom.
Yes, I'm wrong about that. I know, absolutely. There's no question about it. Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you. But anyway, we're bringing, what did we call that segment on the KQ Morning Show again? I think it was just like
I don't know. I did not work there.
Public servants or whatever. I mean, you're going to hear some amazing stories about things that people say to cops and firefighters. And there are some sad stories, too. We have those. Very, very touching stories about firefighters, carrying little babies out and mom and dad didn't make it. And
God.
it's a great segment, and I'm glad you guys
It's
brought
a
it up.
great segment. People didn't make it.
No, I mean, overall, there's not a lot of that. It's mostly...
Let's rethink that.
Mostly it's the things that people say to cops that are just, what are you talking about, officer? I haven't had anything to drink. It's that kind of deal.
The Reese Witherspoon. Do you know who I am?
Yeah.
And she got arrested.
Oh God.
Yep.
I love
You're
that.
about to
So
find out.
once again, the call-in line, 952-977-9381. The text line, 612-361-6622. You can comment on text. You can call in live, do whatever you want. Kristen Bird Entertainment News is brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. What's up?
All right, we have the update on Bad Monkey because I would just
Oh,
wanted to
good.
see
Yes.
if we had any type of production date, release date, anything. So it was picked up for season 2 early this year. Vince Vaughn did a recent, I would say early May interview with Collider, and he said, we have the first 4 episodes written, which means they're nowhere near even production. So
Right.
he expected to be filmed later on this year in Los Angeles. They are moving production to California thanks to the tax incentives.
Right.
It will still take place in Florida, but majority of it will be filmed in California, which means they'll probably go maybe once to Miami, do a couple of exterior locales, and get back out of Dodge. So I think that's what's going to happen. But I'm going to expect that Bad Monkey will be a 2026 release, given this very slow timeline.
Is he the executive producer? Like he was the executive producer on Nona's, wasn't he?
Yes. Yeah, he was. Yep.
Yeah.
He's probably doing quite a bit of executive producing. Usually actors now are taking the star and the producing credits because that's where the money is. It's not in the acting anymore.
Well, I know it was a meme for a long time that shows would have like 73 producers.
Yes.
Because it's easier just to credit someone as a producer, and there you go. Now they got a bigger paycheck.
A question about that, though. I mean, these actors aren't stupid enough to put up their own money for a project. They're definitely
they're
getting
using other
somebody
people's
else
money.
to, yeah.
Every once in a while, someone will be dumb enough to put their own money into a project. And I think like that Jennifer Lopez documentary and music video that she did about her love for Ben Affleck, which then 2 months later they announced their divorce. Probably a bad idea.
That's Hollywood right there. Yep.
She invested $20 million in that. Not a great idea.
She's got so much money, it doesn't matter. She can,
Oh,
she can just throw it
Kevin
away.
Costner would be the other really great example of this. That was a really bad idea to leverage some of his home or estate, I should say, equity to do Horizon and American Saga, which bombed the box office. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, it just shows you
36 million.
Shows you how popular Kristen Bird is. As soon as the kids knew that she was on, they showed up for work. Fawn's here. Sage
Nice
is here.
sweatshirt.
They don't know me. They're like, who?
They know who you are. They can watch you. You just can't see them because. And I understand.
They hear me. Yeah.
Alex and Dan don't want the people looking at their young children.
They are smart. You should not put your kids on the internet, period.
No doubt about it. No question.
People are
about it.
there are certain accounts that do deep dives of like what happens if you put your child's image on the internet, and what happens on the dark web, particularly gymnastics, dance, swimwear, like all of those things.
Oh,
People are
100%.
creepy.
Oh yeah, I know. Like, Fawn knows some kids that have Instagram accounts, and I'm like, never, ever, no. Not happening.
Unless they have a smiley face for a head.
No, but then it's their body.
It's their body.
They're
It's still not great.
Creepy.
Really?
Yeah, because in
Yeah.
dance clothes, you're in like these little shiny costumes.
Yeah, it's
Oh
skin
my
tight.
God.
Yeah.
People are
Yeah,
gross.
USA Gymnastics even had to make sure that photographers who were taking sports photography were, on things like the uneven bars where they're catching things and their legs,
Right.
are spread.
Yeah.
The angles that they were catching them at were appropriate and not publishing them in Sports Illustrated and things like that
Well, I would
because
hope
they
so.
become.
Yeah.
But for years, it was happening.
God.
And Sports Illustrated be like, that's a great shot of uneven bars. And they're thinking from a sports mind, but you have people who are so deviant, they're thinking of it from a sexual mind.
Ay, ay, ay.
Oh, I know. Like, I have one dance mom friend,
Stop
and
it.
I always send each other like the images that we get from our kids' dances that we're like, this isn't great. Because, it's just like
Do not buy that one.
the pose or the thing, and you're just like, okay.
Delete.
Yeah, it is really frightening. And Livy Dunn, who is a very popular NCAA gymnast, she was on the LSU team. She just wrapped up her 5 years of eligibility, but she just said that she can't even travel anymore with like middle-aged men showing up at the airport and everywhere else in really scare, like asking for her autograph, and she now has to hire security just to travel.
Gross.
I have
And
my
she's not
security.
rich enough to take private planes, but
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I have
That's right.
security. His name is Sage. He's covering my picture.
He really
yes,
wants.
that's good. Put
he
a
really-
sticker on his face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Okay. I guess somebody needs some
Sage.
attention here.
If
Doing
we
the
don't,
book.
once we don't have a guest, Bob can read some of those. He has
Which
this. He
is
got this book
never.
called Two What's and a Wow, and it's like there's two. It's kind of like two truths and
Haven't
a lie.
you had that for a long time?
No, this
This is
is
a new one.
a new one,
Ah.
and it's kind of like two truths and a lie, but it's one truth and two lies.
Oh, and you
Oh,
have to
that
decide
sounds
which one is
fun.
which?
You have to decide which one is true, and they're all like
It's like the
fact
2025 version of Mad Libs.
Yeah.
Oh, Mad Libs, I remember
I
that.
love
remember
Mad
Mad
Libs.
Libs.
Oh yeah, Sage and Fawn. We've done Mad Libs before. We had like a little Mad Libs book. Those
Yeah.
are fun.
I do not remember that.
So, Kristen, well, you lived here and you know this. Just yesterday, it was, 90 degrees and sunny. And
It was 94 degrees.
it was
so
94
hot.
degrees and sunny.
It was
and-
really, really windy though.
And it was really, really windy. But today, it's 57 and it's pouring rain. It's just, well, you remember, you lived here. You remember how the weather.
Yeah, I
it just
mean, we
blink
have that.
of an
I
eye.
was out yesterday. It was 80 degrees here, and then I went out walking this morning, and it was raining.
Yeah.
Like, why is it raining in LA in the middle of June? Because we don't usually see rain at this time of year. So everything is very weird.
Yeah, it is a weird
And
deal.
it's, you can smell the smoke here too.
Oh, you can really smell it. It's
Yeah,
terrible
it's really
today.
bad.
Yeah, the air quality is really low, but hopefully the rain will help.
Nope, we've already gotten a report on how how it made it worse.
Yeah, the cold front
toxin in.
forces the smoke down to the ground. So
Yeah.
yep.
Yep.
That's why it smells.
why
Crank
it's
those
much
air
worse.
purifiers up. And my other tip on the air purifier is that once this passes, make sure to change that filter right away.
Yeah.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah.
My tip on the air purifier is don't have a kid who just goes turns it off because he likes the beep sound it makes.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
There
There's
you
that.
have it.
that's tricky.
On the talk and text line, Bill wants to know if we have to put up with Canadian smoke, why doesn't it smell like Canadian bacon?
Yeah.
It's a very good point.
This will be a nice smell.
Canadian bacon is
Canadian-
good.
Delicious.
Although Canadians don't like it when you call it that.
They don't?
Well, it's just ham to them.
Well, that's true. It's just
They don't
ham
call
to
it
them, yeah.
Canadian bacon in Canada.
They don't like it being called Canadian bacon.
Well, because it's not bacon. They know what bacon is.
Oh,
Yeah.
just give me a
who
break.
It's like
cares?
French
Ham.
fries. French fries are not French.
No.
Wonder what they call French fries in France.
Frites.
Fries.
Pommes
Frites.
frites.
Yep.
Pommes frites.
Moule,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
moule
that's
frite,
true.
like the most delicious meal.
What is?
Moule frite, mussels and fries.
Mussels and fries.
Moule
Yep.
Moule
frite.
Northern
Oh, so
Northern
good.
France. That's where they harvest all those mussels. They're
So
good.
delicious.
I used to eat mussels
That's-
like crazy when I was a kid.
I know you did.
All works out in the end. We'll take a break. Be right back. A couple of minutes. Kristen Bird Entertainment News continues right after this. From Bradshaw and Bryant, Michael Bryant. What's up, Allie?
Oh, not much. Doing my usual thing of telling people they shouldn't be texting and driving. In Minnesota, you can't have your phone in your hands. You can use, hands-free, but you can't have your phone in your hands for whatever reason. And that's why they made the law the way they did, so that police officers could see a phone in your hand and you got no excuse for why you got it there.
Do people know that that's the law?
I hope so. I mean, they used to follow it, and then kind of COVID kind of made people forget. And now it's like a freewheeling world out there with cell phones.
Let's say you get pulled over because you do have a phone in your hand and you're not watching where you're going. You got to be in pretty big trouble then, I would guess.
Well, the first one's not as bad. It's the multiple ones, the problem. And once people start stacking them up, then they have a big problem. And then what we're doing in car accidents is we've started bringing motions for punitive damages, because I'm trying to use the civil law any way we can to stop this, because it needs to stop.
Whenever I'd had any problems in my life, who was that I called again? It was like an MB, something like that.
Bradshaw and Bryant.
Ladies and gentlemen, family owned since 1933. We're talking about Jack's, of course. An original Minneapolis steakhouse, a place to celebrate and create memories for over 90 years. Hasn't been that long for me, but I bet you it's been 70. Well, maybe not 70 even. That would have been 2 or 3. 65. Let's go with 60. That's what we'll go with. Just minutes from Target Field. or for the pre and post game meal. That's a great idea. Perfect prime rib too. I know Minnesotans love that. Serving steaks, chops, and fresh seafood. You can even net your own trout from Jack's Garden Stream and have it prepared for you minutes later. You can enjoy happy hour in the bar and on award-winning patio Wednesday through Sunday. Private party rooms from 25 to 275 people. Perfect for weddings, groom's dinner, business dinners, or all celebrations. Weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday, and I have to remind myself yet again, when Sid was late, I was upstairs at Jack's. He ran in, started eating his soup. He said, "This soup is terrible," and I said, "That's because it's French dressing." But in any case, Jack's, the godfather of Northeast. Ladies and gentlemen, Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC equal housing lender. So, what else is happening?
Oh boy, Disney did another round of layoffs yesterday.
I
Primarily
saw that.
Los Angeles, big too. This was the largest layoff and the fourth one they've done in 10 months.
Ooh.
What's going on?
Yeah. Well, this is a part of Bob Iger's decision to cut like $7.5 billion from their budget and reduce the workforce by about 7,000. And yesterday, it really hit a lot of the areas in television and also publicity, marketing, casting, because they are they're taking all of their resources away from things like broadcast TV and putting it into streaming. A lot of their focus, again, is going to wind up being sports and live events because that is where the money continues to be. But it really is the shrinking of Hollywood in a very quick, real time. And I don't know if everyone's been paying attention to the AI news that's been happening over the last couple of weeks. I feel like AI has gone from like a 10 to about 150 in the last 2 weeks in terms of like news and what's happening and how this really is going to impact not just Hollywood, but other industries within the next 1 to 5 years.
That is amazing. It's unbelievable how things are changing.
I know. I keep on saying, we need to start focusing on this in the realm of education, right? We should have been doing that 5 years ago. And here we're all still sitting around going, "Oh, why can't the kids read and write?" It's like, this is something that needs to be addressed now.
Yeah. I mean, everyone feels like they're caught by the seat of their pants. And 4 publications, entertainment publications, are shutting down at the end of June.
Oh.
And they're more on the tabloidish side of like In Touch and Closer Weekly and Life and Style. But I will say that they also cover a lot of reality shows, which reduces a lot of publicity for these type of shows. And sort of like the C and D listers, like where are they going to go for, interviews and things like that. And that impacts a lot of journalists because what's happening in Hollywood impacts all of the industries that are kind of in those surrounding layers. And before long, it hits every other industry.
Well, it's interesting you said that because the Star Tribune is also, they just had to lay off, 200 people?
At least 200, I think.
They're-
How
and
many
they're-
people are even working there?
They're buying out their, they're not really giving them that much money. It's like if you've been there for 10 years, you get 1 week's salary and $10,000, and you get to go on Cobra.
What's
I mean, it's
Cobra?
not a very good package.
Cobra is not a good package, period.
No,
if anyone
it's
has
really
ever been laid off
expensive.
and you go and ask and you're like, how much will my insurance be? And they're like, $1,200. And you're like, wait a minute. Like in California, I can go on the marketplace and get something, a lot cheaper than that.
Can
Yeah.
you? Because
Crazy.
insurance in Minnesota is
Yeah, it's bad
sky
here.
high. I mean,
California, it's better.
Andy's family of
There you go.
4 is like $2,400 a month.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And then what's that deductible?
I want to say it was 5,200. I don't know if it still is, but
I mean, it's just
it's
just stupid.
I mean,
And,
we've been hitting it because I can't go a year without getting surgery or
say,
Melissa
you're-
having
Yeah,
a
there you
baby.
go.
So
Well,
you
that's
know.
true, but they really punish small businesses.
Oh,
really
that was one of
punish
the
small
reasons we couldn't do our
businesses.
hardware stores because we had to pay insurance for either you have to get like 17,000 employees who each work 1 hour a week,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or you have to pay for everyone's insurance, and that's literally not possible unless you have millions and millions of dollars in cash flow.
Yeah, they give large corporations huge breaks on premiums. but not for small businesses.
Another example of that, I went to Target out in, where is that? Out west out there. That's not
Out
still Wayzata.
west.
It's not Wayzata anymore. It's, I don't know.
Long
it's
Lake?
not Minnetonka.
Chanhassen, Chaska.
No, this is down 494, or excuse me, 394.
St. Louis Park?
Is that St. Louis Park? It's
We're in
Ridgedale?
St. Louis Park
By
currently.
Ridgedale?
It doesn't matter. I wish I hadn't asked the
Well,
question. My God.
It makes sense.
It's the one right there in Ridgedale.
Let's name every city
Then
in
that's
Minnesota.
Minnetonka.
That is still Minnetonka. Okay.
Excuse me.
I went in there on Saturday morning. I was going to grab a couple of things, and the store was open. I grabbed my couple of things and I walked. There was not one live cashier at work. Not one of them.
Really? There's always
Yep.
at least one whenever I go to the store.
I was shocked. There was, because I went yesterday and there was a woman working. She was the only live one, though. I remember when that store used to have 10, 12 cashiers.
Yes, and if there
Right.
were more than a few people in line, you could say, "Could you bring up a cashier so that you could
Yeah.
take the heat off?" And Costco now has
Self-checkout.
self-scanning.
Self-checkout, yeah.
It's had self-checkout for a long
Yeah,
time.
it has.
Well,
Yeah.
but more and
CVS
more, I
does.
feel like. Yeah.
Yeah, everywhere has self-checkout basically now,
Target.
except for small stores.
Yeah.
So how many thousands of people will never get work again because of that?
I don't know about never get work again, but
Well, not doing
I
that.
don't help because I prefer self-checkout.
I'm
so
over
much
those.
faster
I don't
when I do
like-
self-checkout.
I'm faster and I don't have to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I talk all day for a living. Sometimes I just need to
Not
get in and get out,
I
keep my head
understand.
down.
Well, when we were driving back from Florida too, we were reminiscing about the old toll booths and how many of those workers. I mean, there were a ton.
Oh, yeah.
Of
Yep.
toll booth workers at one time. They're
I used
all
to like
gone.
talking to the toll booth workers. Like,
Yeah.
how are
Yeah,
you today?
yep.
And they would give you directions. They knew stuff about where to go and all that. Yeah, they were actually an asset, I thought, but I don't know how many of those were laid off. I don't know what they did with them all. There
Yeah,
must have
I
been
just have my
thousands.
little sticker as a transponder to utilize, some of the toll roads here.
Or
in California.
they'll just bill you by your license plate too. A lot of people are like, I don't
Yeah,
even have
that's what they
Right.
do
I don't
now.
even have a transponder because I don't want to deal with the credit card and the this and the I just
California,
I just pay the ticket.
You have to actively log in to pay the ticket. So if I didn't have a
Really?
transponder and I went through, it would go onto my license. And if you don't do it within 5 days, all of a sudden it becomes like $150.
Oh.
So transponder it is.
Okay.
whenever people talk about toll booths, I always think about this one in China.
Sure.
Of course you do.
Oh, my God.
What?
Can you see that picture, everyone?
No.
That looks like
Yeah.
a border.
Oh
That
my
looks like a border crossing into Tijuana.
It
It's-
does.
That looks
50
like Disney World, honestly.
Yeah.
It's
there you go.
50 lanes that merge down to 20.
Oh,
Yeah.
50 lanes.
Why?
It's
Why?
between Beijing and Hong Kong, that's why.
Oh my
wow.
God.
Yeah, I'm just very, very happy we don't have anything even close to that in America.
That's just too many people.
It's awful.
That's
There was this one story about a traffic jam. Let's see if I can find it. Long traffic jam in China. It was. Here we go. It's got its own Wikipedia article. The China National Highway 110 traffic jam lasted for 12 days.
Oh, God.
what?
60
Whoops.
miles long. Oh. People were driving 0.6 miles per day. People were handing out, they were like setting up shops on the highway so they could sell food to people who were there. They were literally, some people were there for 5 consecutive days, just in their car.
What?
Oh,
I think I'd.
why?
I would abandon my car. I'd be like, okay, I'm a homeless
I think I'd
person
start
now.
driving on the grass or like.
No, it
oh,
was like an elevated highway. You're trapped. You cannot get off.
I'd leave my car.
Why did
I
that?
know. Just
Why
like
did it start?
Burn your car at that point. It's not worth it.
The worst I've ever sat on a highway is maybe 3 hours.
Hey, you
Because
and
of an
I were
accident.
into
And
that
I'd consider
one, yeah.
that pretty bad.
That's
but-
terrible.
Yeah,
That-
it is.
You know,
that's
it was a
awful.
combination of road construction, extremely huge throughput, 40% growth every year
Oh,
for the traffic on that
that's a
road.
lot.
Yeah.
And I complain about LA traffic.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
You
You could be
can-
in China.
Yeah, traffic in China is out of this world.
Not for the faint of heart.
No.
Well, I know that they picked up, they're at least moving toward picking up business in Los Angeles again, that area for filming and all of that stuff. But I saw some reports yesterday and I want you guys' take on this, of course, the listeners as well. This is depressing the hell out of me because you were just talking about, they don't need that many people to do this or that or the other thing, blah, blah, blah. We've talked before about local television news is in big trouble because nobody watches it. I think, Kristen, you and I were talking about that you do watch the headlines on one of your local stations.
Yeah, we've actually, knock wood, our local stations have not experienced the layoffs that the newspapers have and some of the magazines have. So right now, Los Angeles, I think, is still holding strong. It is one of the bigger markets, though. And we've had a year where they've had record ratings because of the fires.
Wow.
And, when you have an emergency like that, who do you turn to? Of course, you turn toward the local reporters and meteorologists on the ground, and they did incredible work over those 2 weeks. And, that story continues, not only just in renovations and rebuilding, but also the beaches aren't safe. I mean, you shouldn't be on the beach in that area through October. There's a lot of issues with the soil is toxic and, when things reopen. So I think those stories are important.
Yeah, a lot of people are angry because they can't get building permits to rebuild.
Yeah,
It's very
very
slow. Yeah, California's notorious for all of that building
Too much
permit
red
stuff.
tape,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Yeah.
Now, television has changed so much because it's not ABC, NBC, CBS. They still are there, but there's the Netflix of the world and all that. The reason I'm bringing this up was just brought up to me that, and I didn't even think about this, that back in the day when you had a 40 share, that was millions of people, right?
Yeah.
Now they're talking about people getting 20, 25 shares, whatever, because you have to understand something. Let's say a 10 share. You got a 10 share going. Back in the day when everybody listened to the radio, let's say in Minneapolis, St. Paul, a 10 share was probably 500,000 people.
Well,
Because it's a share of the people listening to
Yeah.
the radio.
Correct.
That's what people don't understand.
Yep.
It's,
They do
it's
not
how many
understand
people
that.
are actually listening to the radio in total.
You could have a
And
100
then your
share,
share.
and
Yeah.
your total audience wouldn't be anything compared to 30 years ago.
That's
Right.
exactly
Literally
what I'm
everyone
talking about.
listening to the radio right now could all be listening to the same station, and I bet it wouldn't be half of what the average station was 30 years ago.
He said it's about 20%.
Yeah.
20%
that's-
Wow.
of what it used to be.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. We never turn on our radio anymore.
Nope.
Everything is Spotify and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I listen to podcasts all the time in my car.
Podcasts, yeah.
Yeah.
Most people just listen to podcasts or something like that.
That's what
And I
for the
think
young
too,
people.
even just when measuring TV ratings now, they have to measure like +7 because a lot of people, let's say the show was on ABC, but they don't have their local ABC station. Like I don't have my
Right.
local ABC station.
Right.
I have to wait until the next day when it's on Hulu. So they have to create now a buffer of like who's going to watch it within that first week, and that first week counts for ratings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
And
mean-
radio stations don't necessarily have that capability. Yes, they can take their show and make it into a podcast, but I don't think it's measured in the same way.
I mean, an example is we have 7 people in this studio right now. I mean, Studio A, B, C, and the little lobby area out there.
And
Back-
Judy.
And Judy, of course. And back in the day, if you had an 80 share and, with that many people, now, if you have an 80 share now, it would probably be 2. Instead of 7 people, it would be 2 people.
Yeah.
Because I guess, obviously, AM radio is totally over, unfortunately. And it makes me sad to say because I have very, very good friends that are still on AM radio. WCCO AM is a legendary radio station. And I have a couple of friends that that are
farm
working out there.
reports.
Yeah, doing the farm reports and all that stuff. But I did not realize now if you have a, let's say you'd have a 10 share today is about comparatively probably about a 2 or 3 share back when everybody listened to the radio. It's just not anywhere near as valuable. And they're having big problems with it. The reason this came up is I was talking to one, it doesn't matter what television station, radio stations they own. They own a bunch across the country, but it just does not have the value it used to have.
Nope.
Because a 10 share is not a 10 share anymore. It's what a 2 or 3 share used to be. So, I mean, they're having real problems with sales. One of the other guys I called about this, and I asked the radio and television salesperson, he said, oh, yeah, I'm telling you, it's really hard to sell radio now, which makes me sad. I mean, I was in
Well, it's
radio
sad
forever.
see all these things go away. I think
Yes.
that's the
Yep.
thing. And we're really moving into uncharted territory when it comes to AI, and it's unregulated as well. So that is another
Yep.
issue. And
Yeah.
how this is going to be used. Some of it, of course, can be used for good, but we already know that a lot of it is going to be used not for good. And
Yeah,
we're
that's
all
very
going to feel
true.
the effects of that.
All right, you got to hit the road. You got to go out make some money because, what? Look, let me put it this way. If a 20 share was a 20 share, and now a 20 share is basically about a 3 share, what's it going to be like in 5 years? A 0? I mean,
don't know.
are there going to be any listen? Nobody listens, or very, very few people listen to AM radio. It's
Well,
just
and
how
that's
it
why
is.
they're saying if you are a podcast and not having a video component, you're already DOA.
Yeah, yep.
You can't just go, oh, I'm just going to like get it together and put out audio. You can't put out audio anymore. You have to have that video component. And that is a huge part of what's happening because YouTube is taking over everyone.
Yes,
None of the
right.
streamers can catch up to what they're doing. And Netflix is trying, but they're not there yet.
Well, we will talk to you tomorrow.
Yes, and one thing I just want to mention because Loretta Swit from
Oh, yeah.
MASH
Yep.
passed away
Oh, yeah.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
tonight. Is doing or actually all week long they're doing a series of tribute episodes to her on MASH. So you'll be able to catch those on MeTV at 6 p.m. Central Time.
I always liked her, and she used to pop on the KQ show once in a while, and she was very, very easy to work with. Really nice.
Yeah, she was so great in the role. Hot Lips Houlihan.
Hot
Yeah.
Lips Houlihan. There's a name for you.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Kristen Bird Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. We'll take a break and be right back in a couple of minutes. Chris Eggert will join us right after this. Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Brian Thiel, president of Abrasives of St. Paul.
What I like best about North American Baking Company is the small town feel with great products and very good service, and I love the people. I would definitely recommend North American to other business owners. A lot of banks I could choose from, and North American Banking Company is the one.
So why not bank where I bank? With my friends at North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. That's nabanco.com, or stop by any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. You're listening to me, your customers are listening to me, and they'll hear me promote your business. The Tom Bernard Podcast attracts thousands of listeners. I was talking to Andy yesterday. It's several thousand listeners. So thank you for that. We want to get about 50,000 per day. That's where we want to get, right?
Sure.
It works for me. So in any case, Tom Bernard Podcast attracts thousands of listeners who are loyal, engaged, and ready to support businesses they trust. Our podcast has helped numerous businesses increase traffic, sales, and brand recognition. We're not just about ads, we're about results. Whether you're a local business or a national brand, we offer custom advertising packages designed to fit your unique needs and goals. Our audience spans multiple demographics, allowing you to target your ideal customers with precision, from millennials to baby boomers and everybody in between. Increase your brand awareness. With Tom's, my broad reach and passionate following, your business will see increased visibility and awareness, translating into more customers and sales. For Bradshaw and Bryant, Michael Bryant. Michael, what's up?
Dealing with another case where a person gave a statement to the adjuster because they thought the person was really friendly.
Is that a good idea?
Well, the problem is they know the law when they call you up. And while you're trying to be fair and you're trying to get help, the reality is there are questions you get asked that the way you answer them make a big difference. And people put themselves in trouble. And when they aren't in trouble, they didn't do anything wrong, but suddenly the adjuster's got a statement that can blow up their case completely.
What has caused people to be so untrustworthy, I guess is the best way I could put it? They take advantage.
Well, insurance companies have hired adjusters whose job it is to deal with unrepresented people. So they're supposed to kind of lure them in, call them every day, see how they're doing, and people are like, I'm doing pretty good. Where the reality is they've kind of adjusted to their problem that they've got going on. So it's not that they're completely better, but the way they say it gets to be a problem. And that's why having somebody who can explain your rights, represent you, make sure that you understand the law before you give a statement can make a big difference in your case.
Michael Bryant, Bradshaw and Bryant. What do you think of that rocking out, man?
Pretty good.
There's no question about it. Channel 5's Chris Eggert, brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608.
I didn't mean the thumbs down for you.
I'm trying to read a commercial, and you're
Sorry.
all flagging things around and making noise.
I'm
and
trying to entertain a 7-year-old.
Well, technically, you don't have to read that anymore anyway.
Yeah, that's true. You're absolutely right about that.
We're off the hook.
Chris, what's the buzz? Oh, see what you did now?
What?
Now she got the kids all whipped up. Mm-hmm. Way to go, Nana.
That's what I do.
Chris Eggert, what's happening?
Well, I was just listening to your guys' long 10-minute conversation about the death of local news and TV news.
And radio.
Enjoyed that.
It's not just local news. It's local radio. It's national radio. National radio doesn't even get any ratings anymore.
It's definitely not the good old days, that's
No,
for
it's
sure.
not.
Mm-hmm. No.
But I will point out one thing, and I think anybody in this industry knows we've got, a big hill to climb here. The biggest thing that TV still has going for it is it has an accurate way to measure its audience.
Yeah, that's true.
And a click, which is how we're measuring internet traffic, does not mean that someone actually sat there and watched your video or viewed your product.
Right.
And so from a sales standpoint, to convince a business that's looking for 54 to 68-year-old adults who have a certain income, have this, that, or whatever, television still can measure that audience.
That's true.
And know that they can put the advertiser in front of the people they're looking for.
That's good, yeah.
And it's gotten even more complicated over the years too, where they can measure the how long you're watching, what your age, where you're at, your income, all this stuff. Like back in the day, it used to be if you were a Nielsen house, you would have like a book in your house,
Diary, yeah,
like a ledger, and you'd go write down when you watched something, but nobody ever actually wrote it down as it happened. So they would go back and fill it in later, knowing that the ledger had to be due. And 9 times out of 10, they'd write down like the show they thought they watched.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
So, well, Grandpa's always watched WCCO, so they just kind of go and write WCCO down, not even knowing if that's who they are watching. But that said, we're definitely, it's a tough business right now.
Well, a guy I was talking to, this is spurred this whole thing on. I was talking to this guy this morning. He's a national sales guy who's been in radio, television, all the rest of it. He said, back in the day when you told somebody you had a 10 share, that was a very big deal. And then if you had a 20 share, their question would be, oh, so you got one more person listening, huh? You go from from a 10 to a 20 because one other person tuned in. It's very, very difficult. Chris, let me ask you a question. As a news anchor, it's a very big job, keeping people informed and also making people feel comfortable with the news they're hearing and all the rest of it. But I don't know, some of these, you go into, I talked about going into Target on Saturday. There were no live cashiers in the entire Target building, not one. They were all self-checkout. Where are all these people going to find jobs if there aren't any jobs to get?
Well, part of that is the rise of your Amazons and things like that.
Yeah.
And we become a society where if we want something, we order it online.
Yep.
So do you fully staff your stores knowing it and Target's got some problems right now too and they're pricing themselves out of some things and they're trying to make big changes to it's definitely I don't want to say the wild, wild west, but there's just a lot of factors at play right now that has a lot of industries kind of hanging in the balance, I guess.
Well, so many corporations decided to get into the political aspect of the world.
Yes.
And I just think that it was such a huge mistake because Target was very progressive, activist motivated for a long time. And then that backfired. So now they're trying to temper that. So now
that's backfiring
now
too.
they're making
Now
those
that's
people
backfired.
mad.
Yep.
It's like, why don't you just stop it already?
Once you enter the ring, you have to fight, basically.
Well, and
the best choice is to just stay out of the ring.
And I know that there are a lot of groups out there that have formed throughout the years, and like media watch groups. They would sit there and watch the news and make sure there is enough representation
Yep.
for these voices. And if you didn't have it, they would flood the station with complaints. And so everybody responds to social pressure, right?
Yep.
And but that's also, it's an artificial thing. I
Yes,
mean, if
very
you have
much so.
15 people sending in 4,000 facts a day complaining about something, it doesn't make it that there's,
Yeah.
4,000 people doing it,
Right.
So I don't understand the wisdom of that leadership going that direction.
Well, it has not gone well for people who operated that way. That's for sure.
Well, the Star Tribune, on X, the story that they're laying off 200, I think it's 200 people, right?
Oh, God.
All of the comments were, that's because it's a liberal rag, it's because it's been lying to us forever, it's because it's just a mouthpiece for the DFL, blah, blah. And nobody was like sad to see it happen.
Yes, that is terrible.
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, man, on Sundays, if you didn't get the Star Tribune in Minneapolis or the Pioneer Press,
yeah.
What's the one we got with the giant Sunday edition with Calvin and Hobbes?
That's
was that the
Sunday
Star
paper.
Tribune?
Yep, Star
Yeah, it
Tribune.
was Star
Well,
Tribune.
there you go.
I mean, kids don't have that anymore because they just all watch television anyway and watch Disney.
Well, and there was also, X is now the #1 news source in France.
Yep.
That's awful.
The #1 news source.
Have you, Chris?
Go ahead, Tom.
Have you noticed how political, and I mean it's way out political now, on social media, particularly on Mondays. Mondays is psychopath day on social media.
I honestly put I have an example of this. I put what I thought was going to be like a let's complain about the weather post on my Facebook page the other day. And I put living in Minnesota is great except for blank. And I assume people are going to complain about the sports teams or the weather or whatever.
Right.
Oh my God, it's got like 2,000 comments now, and it turned into a political thing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
People are losing their freaking minds. And it almost, I mean, I hate to say it, but I don't hate to say it. It almost makes me not even want to be on there anymore because people are so, but that's with everything. And that, even the Star Tribune, like you were just talking about, Catherine, people have become so accustomed to their phones populating their news feeds with things that they are more interested in. Mm-hmm. And more people, it seems most people don't want to hear the opposing point. And so they want to hear just what they want to hear. And so then organizations, the big legacy media, gets accused of being for one side or the other. And the Star Tribune may very well have a slant one way or the other.
Yeah, it's pretty evident.
But people only have come to the point where they only hear what they want to hear, and they don't want to have a cordial, smart conversation about the opposing viewpoint. And that's where we're at. And Kristen was talking about people come back to local news when there's a big disaster,
right?
When the fires are burning. But we're not going to be around the next time that happens.
Yeah,
because,
that's right.
So, and I guess everybody will be watching X and watching the news there.
You guys might not be old enough to remember this, but there used to be a very well lit, and at night it was all neon and all the rest of it. There used to be a sign on top of the Star Tribune building that said, "We have 652,214 subscribers." Well, that ain't up there anymore. I will tell you that. That's when I was a kid. It was up there. I mean,
was it? I don't remember that.
Well, that was before your time, and there's no question about it. But I mean, it was a situation where you look at that number, you go, "My God, that's the entire Twin Cities at that time." They had everybody. And now, I mean, are there going to be any newspapers in another 3-4 years? I doubt it.
I think the news organizations have to really be overt in how they explain to people how we're adding value to their life.
Yes.
Because people are very much in a mindset of what's in it for me. So if you turn us on in the morning, or if you crack open the paper, what is it that people expect us to do for them to spend their time viewing us or reading us or whatever? And the thing that I see that's fallen by the wayside a lot because of the social media thing is holding public leaders accountable.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That is huge. That is
questions.
I agree. That has definitely
holding
damaged it.
Holding their feet to the fire if there's something that, and because of social media, the way it's become, I think a lot of the politicians can hide behind social media.
Yes,
and they
absolutely.
can just put out a statement and not have to sit there and face a reporter, not have to be accountable to anybody. And I think if, Chris Fix's news, which I'm obviously not going to do, but I'm going to try really hard, is something that we have to, as an industry, let people know that we are really trying to do that and we're working to do it. And we have to do it. We can't just take a statement off Twitter and from the politician and put it on TV. Or if we do, we have to say, no, we're going to follow up on this because of X, Y, Z. So,
well, what do you think about someone like Jake Tapper?
Yep, Jake
who
Tapper.
was, on the most disinformation broadcast in the world, all of a sudden changing his mind and saying, oh, we should have known about Biden. We should have asked harder questions. Oh, we should have asked about this. We should have asked about COVID. All of a sudden he's a journalist after 30 years of being a journalist.
Yeah.
It's rubbing people the wrong way for understandable reasons. If it was that big of a deal when Joe was in office, and by the way, there's plenty of other right-wing conservative media who have pointed Joe Biden's health failings out for years.
Right.
And for them, if it was that big a deal to sit on it until he was out of office and then write the book.
Yeah, yep.
Absolutely, that people have right to question that.
Alex, get your head out of the clouds, will you? We're trying to
Alex,
do it.
Nope, Alex, I don't think we've talked in years.
I know.
I wanted to say hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, yeah, I suppose not. You haven't been on Tuesdays since
Oh, that's right.
school.
I'm usually with my preschoolers.
Oh, yeah, actually,
And now
yeah.
she's
Tuesdays.
floating in the heavens.
What's going on with your heavens behind you there? I like that.
I'm
got
wearing
the
a
heavens.
like cotton candy pink sweatshirt, and so I was like, oh, I'll be in
did
the
it
cotton
match?
candy clouds.
No thank
Nice.
Yep.
This is totally off topic, but there was a
Yeah.
horrible video of a woman that went on one of those things where I don't know if she was paragliding or parachuting or something like that, and she had a panic attack and she took off her whole harness.
Oh, God.
And fell into the sea
Probably
and
shouldn't do that.
What on
perished.
earth?
Yeah.
They say that that's not all that uncommon for people.
Really?
It's called. There was a big discussion on X this morning about it's called falling into the void. That about 50% of people have this thing when they're on high places.
Call of the void, yeah.
Or call of the void. When they're on even a tall balcony, that they feel an urge.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
50% of people have that. And so they're like, it could have been a panic attack, but it also could have been that she had this strong urge to just do that.
When I'm more than 5 feet off the ground, I have an urge to get on the ground. So-
You,
Oh,
Andy,
really?
100%.
Okay.
Well,
Oh my
because
God.
there's the intrusive thoughts. Because I mean,
Yeah, everyone's
there's-
got those.
There's all the like, what if I just jumped off this bridge right now?
That's what
Oh,
they're saying.
but,
That's
like-
what they're saying this is.
But it's
But
not
you don't
like I
actually wanna
want
do it.
to. It's just like a weird thought.
Yeah, the human
that
brain
people-
runs through
Yeah.
scenarios just so it's prepared
Like
for
when you're on
something
an
happens.
when you're on an airplane, it's like, what if I open the exit door? Like you're not gonna do that. You don't want to, but these like things just pop into your head,
Right.
and usually most people are like, that's weird.
But I guess this is a thing that's been around forever.
Oh,
and
yeah, here we
people-
go. I
yeah.
found it.
The call of
Teen model Tiana Radoniuk unbuckles harness while something or other. Parasailing.
Parasailing.
Yeah, she was parasailing and she unbuckled her harness and fell 160 feet into the Adriatic Sea.
And there was no sign. She was waving at her friends. She was all happy about doing it. It wasn't like, oh my God, I'm scared. Nothing like that. She wanted to do it. And she went up there and just, all of a sudden, the video is just, there must be a GoPro right there on the thing.
Well, 'cause
because you can see her do it. It's horrible.
Because
to
if she
see.
was scared, she wouldn't have done that.
Right.
Because
Right.
you're scared of falling
Yep.
if you're scared.
But a panic attack, too, wouldn't you be like more
Yeah.
apt to like hold on tight and close your eyes
just,
rather
like,
than
freak out.
Yeah,
unbuckle yourself?
No one knows why
Well,
she did
there's
it.
fight, flight, freeze, and fawn, right? Those are
Yeah,
the,
that's true.
I guess she flight.
But I had never
Yeah.
heard of this call of the void or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I
I've
don't
never
know if
heard
I
of
have
that. Have
either.
It
you?
doesn't affect me, that's
Well,
for sure.
I used to hear about it when you came to town. Also, living in New York, I would say once a week somebody jumped off their balcony of the 25th
sure.
to 30th floor. It
Yeah.
had to happen once a week.
Well, that's usually suicide.
Yeah.
Attempt.
Well, I suppose, but I'd find a better. I think I'd rather do dope and drink myself to death than jump 25
Yeah, for
stories.
real.
Yeah.
That final final few moments can't be pleasant.
Well, that's.
No.
I mean, it's quick.
It's
I
very
guess.
quick.
I guess.
I mean, it sounds
I don't know.
awful. I don't know.
I don't know why I brought that up. It's depressing.
I don't know either.
Because of this phenomenon I had never heard of before. I just thought that was.
I don't want to watch that video, but
No.
I do want to look deeper into that. But then again, I don't want it to populate my phone and my
Right.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it
Although
was just,
it's listening to us talk about it
Yeah.
right now, so
Yeah.
we're all going to see videos
Yeah. Oh,
later
yes.
today about it.
yeah, that's true. But
It is unbelievable, the whole thing, how the world is. How many people are on Earth now?
get off the
8
camera.
billion-ish?
The kids just asked me that.
What'd you say, 3 billion?
8 billion.
8 billion. Oh,
It
that's
hasn't
right.
been
It is
3
8
billion
8
since
to
you were
8.5
born.
billion. Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. I remember.
Yeah, when
that.
I was born, it was only 5 billion.
That's
So
too many.
that's
quickly.
fun.
Oh, I just
Have
love
you
that.
guys- speaking of that, I've been reading a lot more about population decline, and
Yes. Yeah.
that's
Yep.
something that's really becoming concerning for. I don't know if it's. Catherine, correct me if I'm wrong here. I don't know if it's a political thing. Is it a political thing?
I really have no idea because I mean, you go to Costco on a Thursday, on coupon day. There's so many people.
Right.
You
Oh, my
drive,
goodness.
you drive across the country. There's so many
Sure.
people. I mean,
Yeah.
you look
I
at
guess, but-
China. I mean, there's so
Yeah, look at that
Picture is-
one tollway.
so
Yeah.
many people. I don't understand how. I mean, I think that maybe certain sectors are collapsing. Like I know that the Japanese have had a decrease in population because
They've had a population
women,
problem for a long time.
Japanese women don't want to get married and don't want to have kids.
Yep.
Well, I mean, living in Japan, you're probably like, we're good.
Oh,
We
Tokyo.
don't need any more people.
If I lived in Tokyo, I would absolutely be like, yeah, we need to decrease human population by about 99%.
Yeah.
It's like we don't need to make more people.
But not everyone lives in Tokyo is the thing.
Yeah.
And certain countries are, have population explosion. So I think it might just be certain people that are not.
Well, I think the
keeping
real
up with
problem
it.
is the aging of the population. I mean, the average age of a person has skyrocketed over the
Right,
past 50
we're
years.
living longer
Yep.
because of advances in medicine and whatnot. But on the other end of it, fewer people seem to be having babies, at least from some of the
Yep.
statistics
Yes.
I've read. And so there's this like math equation, which yes, I think anecdotally, if you go to the grocery store or go to Costco and it's, you can't imagine that there's not enough people in the world. But I guess to keep the population going, it's an interesting topic. I heard something on the middle of on the way in the morning. I think it might have been Art Bell or one of the Coast to Coast.
Yep.
When I'm on my way into work at 3 a.m, like one of those like deep thought conversations that was
Yeah.
on. I was kind of like, I guess I never really thought about it that way, but
Well, and then what number is a sustainable population anyway? I mean, everybody's already complaining that there's not enough housing, there's not enough this, there's not enough that. It's like, okay, well, so which one? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Which one is it?
it's confusing.
Yeah, it is.
You also
confusing.
hear that there's not enough housing, but we also have so many vacant homes that we
Yes.
could house every homeless person 10 times over. So it
Yeah,
can't be both. It's not possible.
Yeah, so I don't know what's true anymore.
Nothing
and
is
a lot
true.
of things. Yes.
That's the truest thing I've heard all day today.
Nothing is true.
Yeah.
God, you guys bringing up that whole deal about the woman releasing herself and all that stuff. What is that called when you're born with a condition? There was a guy named Stuttering John in downtown Minneapolis when I was a kid.
Tourette's?
His name was John. Maybe it was Tourette's, but they called him Stuttering John.
Tourette's doesn't cause
No,
stuttering,
Tourette's,
really.
Tourette's is like either like physical, like big twitches, or like saying
Tourette's is
words.
both.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
a combination.
Or you can
you
do
have to have
both, yeah.
one physical tick and one vocal tick.
Oh, to have Tourette's.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what if you just have a vocal tick? It's just a vocal tick.
Then it's just a vocal tick or a physical tick by itself.
Oh, I did not know
Unless
that you
it
had to
has
have
some
both.
specific cause, like ticks can have causes, but
Yeah.
you can just have I have ticks, and my doctor said you got them.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
The reason I bring him up is because when I was a dishwasher at the Garden Room at Donaldson's downtown Minneapolis,
The good old days.
John used to come in And whenever John talked, he talked like this. So he would come in every day for lunch. He would order his food. I would like a BLT. And then the server would go away. He'd get out of the booth, kneel down, duck his head, and say the Lord's Prayer out loud before he ate. And that was pretty much every day. But then the last time I ever saw John, and he walked very stiff walker. So I didn't want him to be in here when I told this story. Go outside for a second.
Well, just take your head.
He has his headphones on too, so it doesn't really matter.
Okay, so it doesn't matter. Okay. Last time I saw Stuttering John, and this popped in my head because we're talking about the Star Tribune building, and who knows what's going to be there anymore. But I was walking down, and I saw John, and John was always very nice. I guess not to everybody, but he was around me anyway. And he didn't see me coming, but he was looking up in the air, standing very still, and he said, as I walked by him, "Washington apples are the best goddamn apples in the world." What?
You have every right to your opinion, John.
You do. John, you have every right to your opinion.
I'm glad you love him.
But, you talk about why would the woman, plummet into the sea? What happened to John's system?
Yeah,
is it Tourette's? Was it a birth
It
defect
doesn't
of some
sound like
kind?
Tourette's, really.
Yeah, it sounds like he's got something else going on.
Yeah.
Well, the Tourette's one was a very tough one about 35 years ago when all those restaurants. When did they rebuild that spot where the Nankin used to be? They tore that all down and built a new building.
Wow, that's a long time ago. Yeah.
There was a Burger King in there, and the people hiring their help tried to be as open as they possibly could, but there was a big problem with one of the women who had, and Tourette's is when you do that big like that.
Yeah,
right?
that can be, yes.
You can
It can
just
be,
say very inappropriate words. You can just
That's-
laugh
There's you can just
inappropriately.
make
Any
sounds.
sound, if it's
Yeah.
involuntary or
Yeah,
semi-voluntary,
it
it's a tick.
manifests in different ways.
Yeah.
I can't do it. Even I can't say the word that she said. But they found out she had Tourette's, and every time a person of color would come up, she would go, "Big N, Big N, Big N, Big N." Only she didn't go Big N. She did the whole word.
Well, and I know Tourette's, it's like
oh my God.
stress makes it worse, and
Yes.
like your brain
Yep.
knowing that you shouldn't say it makes you say it
Oh,
Yes, right.
more and more.
Yep.
Like I haven't watched it, but there's a show that I think is new. I think it's called like Balin Out Loud or something, and she has Tourette's, and it's this like young woman that has Tourette's, and like about her life and stuff. And I know that would be a tough thing. to
I
have.
work with Tom. You probably watch her every day. I work with someone at Channel 5 who's on the air who has Tourette's, and
Really?
she's spoken out about it, and she's controlling it, and it's she's amazing. Her name's Kelsey Christensen.
Oh yeah,
She's,
yeah.
yeah. She has Tourette's.
really?
Unbelievable.
And they interviewed her for one of the national newscasts once as somebody who's living with Tourette's and functional and not having problems. And for someone to be in our industry and have Tourette's,
Yeah.
she's remarkable. And
That
I would
is.
have never known in a million years. Would have never known.
I didn't think you could control it.
You
Yeah.
can.
You can for a time.
Well, and I know.
believe it's a. Oh, go ahead, Alex.
I know. I watched some expose or something like that about how THC helps physical
Oh, right.
twitches a
Yes.
lot.
Yep.
Oh.
Because there was this one young girl that had Tourette's, and like she had so many physical twitches, and she's like, my body is just in pain constantly because you stiff up a ton.
I've had
Yeah,
days
like
like that,
Parkinson's.
absolutely.
And yeah, like your joints just get so
Oh, yeah,
like
my
out
face
of
has
whack.
gotten numb.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. And like she just did she'd be twitching for like an hour at a time sometimes, and then they had her. This was before they like moved to Colorado, before THC was like legal in most places, and they moved there, and they had her on this whole protocol, and she's like, I used to probably twitch half the time I was awake, and now she's like, maybe it's total for an hour a day.
Oh, that's significant.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
That is a wonderful thing if that's the way it works
So
out. Chris,
maybe she's taking, I don't know if it's THC necessarily, but there are things that you can do to.
I think she. I'd have to go back and look at the story.
Yeah.
But I think there's some medicine that she can take that helps her.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know. So
Good.
that would be a
Yeah.
nice thing. Chris, you have to be out at the bottom of the hour.
yeah,
I thought so.
I'm gonna turn into a pumpkin.
All right. Well, be a good pumpkin, not a bad pumpkin.
Good to see you guys. Alex,
Nice to see you, Chris. Thank you very much.
Good to see you too.
Bye.
Channel 5's Chris Eggert, ladies and gentlemen, one of the great news anchors in the world. Mm-hmm. I've always liked him. Chris is a great guy.
He is a great guy.
He looks like Michael Bublé.
Yeah, he kind of does.
Oh,
He
now
does.
that you said that.
You think?
Totally does.
Let's see, I'm
All
going
right.
to look up Michael Bublé. see
Not
what
like
he looks
identical,
like.
but he definitely looks like Michael Bublé.
They have very similar facial structures.
Yeah, like he probably gets that a lot, I would think.
But he's blonde instead of whatever Bublé is, dark brown, I guess.
He's like brownish, yeah.
Okay.
You can't stand Michael Bublé.
To accommodate your
Oh,
grandson?
yeah. Do we have another?
We have one more break.
Okay. Sage, we're going to do commercials, and then you can do a couple
We're gonna
two
do-
what's in a while, okay? Okay, great.
All right, we'll be right back right after this. I'm talking with my friends Michael Bilski and Brad Huckle of North American Banking Company. Guys, business owners have had to deal with a lot over the last few years, haven't they?
They sure have, Tommy. We pride ourselves on being able to help our customers with the challenges they face.
Our business bankers are experts and are always ready to help our customers capitalize on opportunities and solve problems.
Loan decisions come quickly because they're made here in the Twin Cities and not shipped out of state like at some of the national banks in town.
This allows our customers to expand their businesses with confidence, knowing that they have our team of experts in their corner.
Okay, so now you give me this big thing at the end. Way to go.
Well, you are the professional.
Oh, I forgot. Look, I know Brad and Mike, and I trust them with my banking. They've personally delivered on everything they've just said, so why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Hey, local business owners, you want to get your name in front of the Tom Bernard podcast audience? We're hosting a summer online auction in a couple of weeks, and it's the perfect way for you to get involved. Just provide a product, service, or gift card, and we'll put it up for auction to our listeners and viewers. If your item sells, you'll receive trade advertising equal to the full retail value of what was sold. That means more exposure for your business without spending a dime out of pocket, just trading items for advertising. It's easy, it's fun, and it's a win-win for everyone. To get more information, visit our website and click on the Advertise With Us button. We'll get back to you, but don't miss out. Join the Tom Bernard online summer auction today. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. So what's going on now?
All right, Sage is going to read
Oh, God, here we go.
three facts, and you have to figure out which one is actually true.
Well,
Three facts.
two lies
Well,
and
two
one
lies
fact.
and one
I
fact.
was going to say, that wouldn't be three facts.
You have to go to the microphone, dear.
I will say the answer at the end of the show.
The end of the show.
Well, no,
oh, we're not
say-
going to get to know?
Yeah, do all three. We'll all make our guesses, and then you tell us the answer. How about that?
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
like a good idea.
Great.
Okay.
All right.
To read into the mic.
Which of the following statements about toilets is the one true? Wow.
Okay.
A. The modern toilet seat was modeled after a.
Oh,
Difficult word. Difficult word.
Difficult word.
Difficult word. Victorian era.
Victorian era.
Turning back to the
something.
mic.
Victorian era fashion accessory. B. There is a toilet that makes electricity from pee. C. Doctors recommend that people with back pain spend more time sitting on toilets.
I'm going to go with B.
Yeah, the C is definitely not true because
That can't be right.
'cause
There's no way.
So many things that I hear.
You never sit on a toilet ever.
Shouldn't sit on a toilet for more than 5 minutes ever because it's like horrible for your.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like
Those guys that go in there with a book.
Yeah,
and they're in there
it's
for a
terrible
month.
for you. It's terrible. I saw a thing on Instagram that was like this proctologist was like, never sit on a toilet for more than 5 minutes. Send this to your husbands. It's like,
All right.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
It's always
Okay,
usually men.
so I'm going to go with A because it's just so ridiculous.
I'm gonna go with B.
So we got 3 B's and 1 A.
What's your guess?
B.
B.
Okay.
B.
Same. The answer is B.
Yeah. I
There's a
figured.
toilet that
Yeah,
makes
baby.
electricity out of pee.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, next question. Which of the following statements about water is the one true? Wow. A. We drink the same amount of water as dinosaurs did. B. Hot water takes longer to freeze than cold water. C. It is much harder to swim in syrup than it is in water.
I would imagine it would be C.
Yeah.
I know for a
I'd go
fact
for
it's
C.
not B.
We'll
That's
go
a
with
myth.
C. Yeah,
B is
so-
a common myth.
I'm
That it
gonna
takes
say-
longer to freeze hot water
Wait,
than
I
cold
thought he said
water?
less time.
No, it's less time.
Was it?
Oh.
Did he say less? What? Read B again.
Read B again.
Yeah,
Now
Sage,
the kids
read
have
B
an
again.
argument going here.
B. Hot water takes longer to freeze than cold
Oh,
water.
okay, it's B.
I'm gonna go with
I thought it was quicker.
Everyone thinks it's quicker, but that is a myth as far as I'm aware, unless
okay.
maybe I'm wrong.
I know the answer,
I guess
so I
we'll
can't.
find
I'm
out.
gonna go with A.
I know the answer, so I can't tell you.
Okay, what do you got?
What's
the
your answer, Nana?
I think I said harder to swim in syrup.
Oh.
C.
Bop bop.
I went with B.
You gotta make sure everyone gets
Okay.
their credit.
It is A. We drink the same amount of water as dinosaurs.
How do they know? How do they know how much
That's a
water
great
I
question.
drink?
That's a great question.
Yeah, how would they know
There
that?
is-
Wait, are we
there's-
thinking the lie or the truth?
No,
It's
the one
like
true
the
wow is the
average
true thing.
person.
The average
But
person.
I can
hot
read.
water does take longer to freeze.
I can read about it. If there's like a whole description about like why it's true and
What if it turns out that Sage is lying to all
Ah.
of us?
I'm
Make us
not
look
lying.
bad.
He would never do that.
Next.
The
Okay,
one
Sage.
true wow is that you can never trust Sage.
Yeah, 2 more, okay?
Okay.
Okay, can Fawn read this one and then you read the last one?
Okay.
Here we go, Fawny.
Give it here.
Oh, give it
Give it.
here. Wow. Give it here.
Which of the following statements about worms is the one true wow? A. A worm once ran for mayor of
Tallahassee.
No. Talkeetna.
Okay, wherever.
Some
we don't
place.
care where it is.
Talkeetna something, Alaska. And
Telkey?
and one.
Okay.
B. Some worms can poop from their mouth.
Ah, gee. Where'd you
And
get
C.
this?
There is a species of worm that
Excretes?
Exists.
exists only in New York.
I would
City.
not be surprised if that was true.
Yeah.
I know
probably
the
not.
answer, so I
But-
can't guess.
All right. C.
I'm going with B again.
Okay.
Andy?
I'm going to do A just because why not?
The answer is B.
Yeah. Once again,
worm
I
that
take the
Worms
big lead.
cannot.
Gross.
A worm did never ran for
Mayor.
mayor.
Apparently not.
Definitely not president.
Well, would we notice
A worm's
sometimes?
the
Yeah.
president.
In Alaska, no.
Would we notice?
All right, last one.
Okay, last
Last
one.
one.
He
The
said
worm
it's
might freeze.
true in Alaska.
You guys can talk while I find a really good
Talk
one.
amongst
Oh,
yourselves.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Well, why don't we
Co-host
talk about
us.
the Jack's Cafe giveaway tweet?
That's
Perfect.
a good idea.
Yes.
At Tom Bernard OG, find the pinned tweet, comment under it, and you'll be eligible for a drawing on Friday for a $100 gift card.
Also, I'd like to mention that if you know someone in law enforcement, whether they be cops or firefighters.
Okay,
or,
back to me.
Shh, no.
Nice courtesy. Nice. Never mind.
No, go.
Okay. If you're a cop, you're a firefighter, you're an EMT, you're a nurse, whatever the situation. We used to do this on the KQ Morning Show, and it was a huge hit that the people would come in to studio and we talk about what it's like to be a cop these days, what it's like to be a nurse. It's really, really a good idea. So if you know any cops, firefighters, any people like that would like to be on the show, we'd love to have them in studio because it really works well. The text line is 612-361-6622, or you can also call in and tell us about it, 952-977-9381. So yeah, like I said, any public service people like that who do a wonderful job, we used to give them the nod a lot on the KQ Morning Show, and I want to do that again, still pick it up here on the Family Podcast because they make for wonderful shows. And, by the way, those numbers again, call and text in. If you have a law enforcement, firefighter, nurse, whatever story. Some of them are very, very funny, and we'd love to hear that too. So you can call in at 952-977-9381 or text us at 612-361-6622. Thank you.
All right, Sage.
All right,
Take it
Sage,
away.
You're up.
Take it away, man.
Okay.
Go closer to the microphone.
I lower it.
There you go.
Which of the following statements about ears is the one true wow?
Ears.
Mom, I think you know this
Okay.
answer.
All right, we'll see.
In the 16th century, earwax was used to fill cavities.
Doubt it.
B. Grasshoppers have ears on their bellies. C. Humans have better hearing than pigeons.
I'm going B again.
I wouldn't doubt it's C because birds are sight-based, not
Yes.
hearing-based.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to guess C.
I'm going with C. We haven't had a C yet, have we?
You know, when I think pigeon, I don't think good at things. So
Okay,
Other
Mom.
than eating garbage.
Do you know the answer?
I don't know the answer.
Okay. Which one are you going to?
B, because that sounds fun.
why not?
Okay, the answer is B.
Dang it!
Wins the game.
Yeah,
3 out of
Bob,
4.
you got all of them right.
No, I think I got one wrong. I got all the rest right.
Got
though.
3 out of 4. Grasshoppers have ears on their belly.
Yeah.
What
All
would be
right.
the point of having ears
That's a good question.
pointing downwards?
I
Gotta
have
hear
no
that grass.
idea.
Maybe it's something to do with how low they are to
Wait,
the
I'll
ground
have
and
to
the
search
sound
it.
waves that they produce.
How about I'll do this? I'll search it up.
There you go. You search it up.
I'll say it tells you.
Well,
it tells
the
you
show's
that.
ending.
Yeah,
so.
we are done with the show.
Yeah.
We'll
Okay,
just
let's
have
end the show and
to
then we can
Thank
talk
you.
about
That
this.
was actually a kind of fun game.
It
live in a
was.
live in a
There's no
mystery.
doubt about it.
There you go.
That's going to do it. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bye.
Farewell.